Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe, peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. This is your pre-market briefing for Thursday, March 12th, 2026. This morning, the market is reacting to fresh labor market data showing continued resilience in the U.S. economy. Unemployment claims were at. Wait a minute. Hold on. Unemployment claims were at 213K, and they were forecasted at 214K, signaling layoffs remain relatively low despite higher interest rates. Despite stronger labor data, traders will be watching closely to see whether markets interpret this as economic strength that supports stocks or whether it reinforces the idea that the Federal Reserve may need to keep policy tighter for longer. So the key question for traders is whether this strong labor data supports market momentum or whether it introduces new concerns about interest rate policy and financial conditions. I track the headlines, the data, and the market levels so you don't have to. This show is for education and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. All right, let's get into the mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My earnings are limitless. My learning is too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable, I am skilled, I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, as far as earnings, no notable companies yesterday after market close. In the pre-market, we did have Dollar General. Let me pull them up on the chart here. As you can see, they actually had a strong beat on earnings by 16% and a small beat on revenue. Despite that, you can see this chart. They are down about 5.5% from yesterday's close. So after market close today, we do have Adobe and Ultra Beauty both reporting earnings. All right, so let's get into Robert Greene's daily law. Perfect yourself through failure. Daily law. Malfunctions are a means of education. They are trying to tell you something. You must listen. Henry Ford understood that mechanical failures were not setbacks, but signals pointing toward improvement. Every malfunction exposes weaknesses that allow systems to be refined and perfected. In the same way, mistakes and failures in business or creative pursuits provide essential feedback that leads to mastery over time. For long-term investors, mistakes are often the most powerful learning experiences. Poor investments, missed opportunities, and market downturns reveals weaknesses in strategy and decision making. By studying these outcomes carefully, investors refine their understanding of risk, timing, and portfolio management. Over time, those lessons accumulate to a stronger investment process. Just like Ford improved machines through trial and error and the help of, what's that brother name? With the soybean plant. I can't even think of it right now. It'll come to me later. Anyway, investors improve their strategies through experience. For active traders, losses are part of the educational process. Every losing trade confirms information about timing, market conditions, and risk management. Successful traders review their trades and learn from mistakes rather than ignoring them. Over time, this process builds discipline and improves decision making in trading. Failure is often the fastest path toward developing a real edge. This is $1 Trillion Tickers, and I'm your host, Matt Riches. Let's get into it. All right, let's check out the market caps of our $1 Trillion Tickers. We have Nvidia, 4.52 trillion. Apple, 3.83 trillion. Google, 3.73 trillion. Microsoft, 3.0 trillion. 3 trillion. Amazon, 2.28 trillion. TSM, 1.83 trillion. Meta, 1.65 trillion. AVGO, 1.61 trillion. Tesla, 1.53 trillion. Berkshire B, 1.06 trillion. Alright, let's check out some of our pre-market levels here. Alright, so these are all pre-market levels. SPY, 161.38. QQQ, 603.29. Nvidia, 184.67. Apple, 259.80. Google, 306.06. Microsoft, 403.22. Amazon, 210.72. TSM, 348.60. AVGO, 338.73. Meta, 648.53. Tesla, 407.65. And Berkshire B, 490.56. Alright, this is our 8 chart display. Top left hand corner, we have Nvidia. To the right, Apple, Google, Microsoft. Underneath Nvidia, we have Amazon, TSM, EVGO, and Meta Platforms. Alright, let's check out some news here. Alright. See what we got. We got a few minutes before market opens. Alright. This is from Walter Bloomberg. No signs of Iran regime collapse, per U.S. intelligence. U.S. intelligence sees no immediate risk of regime collapse in Iran nearly 2 weeks into the U.S.-Iran war. While strikes have killed senior officials and weakened Iran's missile capabilities, analysts say government's hold on power remains intact. Officials in the Trump administration say the war's main objective is to degrade Iran's missile, nuclear, and naval programs, not force regime change. Though Donald Trump has also urged Iranians to overthrow their government and demanded unconditional surrender. I definitely remember Trump saying we are going to force regime change. So he'll just say whatever. That's Trump for you right there. Alright, so I did wake up late, so I don't have news. We'll just have to find the news at the same time, y'all. That's fine. Let's see how it works. Oh, Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, makes this statement: Iran will not give up on avenging the blood of its martyrs, especially the martyrs of Minab. Closure of the Strait of Hormuz should remain closed as a tool of pressure to the enemy. All U.S. bases in the region will be attacked and should be immediately closed. We have thwarted the attempt to divide Iran. Oh, market open, market open, market open. The market is open. March 12th, 2026, 6:30 a.m. Let's get into it. Let me write good morning in the chat. There we are. Let's check out these numbers, y'all. Oh, we got a sell signal on a weekly on Home Depot. All right. Let me go on a 1 minute chart so we can see. All right, 1 minute chart. We got SPY is down almost 1% at 670.70. QQQ is down 0.75% at 602.85. Nvidia is down over 1% at 183.95. Apple is down over 1% at 258. Google is down 0.25% at 307.40. Microsoft is up. It's the only green $1 trillion ticker so far. And it just turned red at 405. Amazon is down 1.5% at 209.40. TSM is down 2.5% at 345.50. AVGO is down 1.25% at 337.11. Meta is down 1% at 647.88. Tesla is down 1% at 403.72. And Berkshire B is down 0.5% at 491.26. So the indices and all the $1 trillion tickers are all red so far. All right, SPX is down almost 0.75% at 6,715. The NAS 100 is down over 0.5% at 24,755. The Dow Jones is down 1% at 46,855. Dow Jones ETF is down over 1% at 469. The VIX is up 8%. The VIX is at 26.27. The 10-year Treasury note is at 4.25. Gold per ounce is at 5,165. The gold trust is at 102.18. The silver trust is up 0.5% at 78.29. Copper miners ETF is down almost 2% at 80.84. AMD is down 1.25% at 202.38. Bitcoin is back over 70,000. It's at 70,154. iBit is down 0.75% at 39.77. Ethereum is up 0.25% at 2,056. BMNR is down 0.25% at $21. Palantir is up almost 1.5% at 153.75. And Robinhood is down 2% at $77, y'all. Alright. So it will be a short show today. But let's see if we can find some news on the fly. Alright. So we had the Iran news. Let's see. Wow, look at this graphic from Palantir and NVIDIA. Palantir announced today its sovereign AI OS reference architecture with NVIDIA, which delivers customers a turnkey AI data center from hardware procurement to application deployment. That looks pretty dope, y'all. That looks pretty dope. All right. Uber is launching a new chauffeur ride option targeting corporate and executive travelers. Introducing elite luxury class vehicles with professional drivers, thoughtful amenities like chargers and water, on-time arrival guarantee with meet and greet available at airport pickups. So this is even better than UberX, and based on this example, it's almost 3 times the price of UberX. No, excuse me. Uber XL is the best one. Well, was the most expensive option, and now this Elite is more than double the price of Uber XL. So there's that. I wonder how it's gonna work, y'all. What kind of car do you need? That's what I really want to know. What kind of car do you need? But let's see. All right, Gene Boyvin of BlackRock says oil supply shock from the Iran conflict should be temporary, lasting weeks rather than months. Tanker flow through the Strait of Hormuz are running at about 16% of normal levels, which is a massive shock for now. However, he expects higher oil prices and market adjustments to prevent a prolonged disruption. Next, Americans now need an income of $111,252 to afford the median U.S. home, 46% higher than the $76,000 required to rent, y'all. That's very interesting. That's definitely a big difference. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I actually woke up late today. Had to get some rest, man. I've been going hard, so I actually didn't have time to find all these news articles. So we will be cutting the show short today, but yeah, just looking for articles right now. It's not working. TSA workers are set to miss their first full paychecks this week due to the government shutdown. All right. I think we can go to the daily and see if we have anything that's about to break support or anything like that. Start with our $1 trillion tickers. Let's start with SPY. So this is SPY on a daily. Let's check out the weekly. SPY on the weekly. It's been in a downtrend since hitting the all-time high late January. It did break underneath support this week. Bounced on support last week. And as you can see, it did gap down from yesterday to today. And it did open up underneath my support trend line here. I do have a weekly level here at 669.20 that it's likely to bounce on, but not guaranteed because it did break through that very strongly on Monday. Alright, but outside of that, I got a weekly level. If it does end up breaking that to the downside, I do got 663.70 here. To the upside, I got 677.60 as resistance. Alright, QQQ. Check on the weekly. QQQ been trending down ever since it hit that all-time high on Monday, January 26th. It is further above support than SPY was, so that's good. But it did break below. It did hit the low of the week. No, I mean, this week was lower than any previous week, even though it was just barely. But you can see it clearly here. This week's low was lower than every week's low since November 25 was the last time. This is the low we really got to worry about. 580.49. Should definitely bounce there, but it is the lowest point of the year it hit this week. So that's definitely a downtrend, short-term downtrend. All right, let's check on the daily. And that was on Monday when that happened. Okay, so it had a little small gap down from yesterday. As far as support, I got 597. Resistance, we got our trend line here. Nvidia had 3 good days in a row, and looks like today is going to sell off. But it did break, as far as market structure, it did break this previous high right here, so that's good. So as far as higher highs and higher lows, this is a new higher high from yesterday. So the next higher low just needs to be above this 175.64 before heading back to the upside. So that's good. As far as support, I got this 182.80. If it breaks that, 182, if it breaks that, it can come down to under 180. Apple, we got Apple on the daily here. Did gap down a little bit. It is right at our support trend line. It's breaking it right now on today's candle. I do got daily level here at 255.80. To the upside, they got to break this 262.57. As long as it doesn't break this 253.67, it can go back up. Google on a daily. Google, it has recovered and came back above our diagonal trend line here, so that's good. But this was a major lower low here on Monday, so it did not break this previous high here from Monday, February 23rd, so it would have to break that for me to believe that it's short-term bullish. And then as long as it doesn't break this, came right down to our support level here at 294. But yeah, that's the new lower low, so as long as it don't break that. Next, we got Microsoft. Microsoft starting to show some strength since it sold off all the way down here to 382.70. But looks like it's trying to find some support here at this 400-170 weekly level. But it did break this previous high here, so that's good. So now this previous low, they gotta, as long as they don't break this previous low at 389. Alright, Amazon. Amazon had a nice move up here, but since sold off. So it would have to break this 220.42 for me to be short-term bullish. It needs to stay above this previous lower low of 207.24. Alright, so SPY and the QQQ are both red by 1%. All the $1 trillion tickers are red. TSM is the laggard at minus 3.66%. Let's check out some of our other tickers. The VIX is up 10%. The only thing that's green is the 10-year treasury, silver, and Ethereum. Let's check out the sectors. All the sectors are red except energy and utilities. Let's check out the fear and greed index. We're in extreme fear, y'all. We are at 25 on the fear and greed index. Alright. Let's check out the heat map. A whole lot of red, y'all. A whole lot of red.
I can do it alone. It don't happen overnight, and there's gonna be moments when it's really, really frustrating, and there's gonna be moments when it's really, really inspiring and empowering. And if you get too high off the highs and too low off the lows, you're gonna take yourself on a ride that's very uncomfortable. I think it's just about being committed to the work, appreciating it, when it's good, and not stressing too bad when it's bad. Just appreciating the work, and staying focused on showing up every day.
We'll be back tomorrow, folks. I'm not gonna sleep in tomorrow, definitely not. But I had to today. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial